Welcome back. It's the Steve Marston Show, and we are glad that you're joining us. And look, hit our YouTube page. It's brand new, and we need more followers. Don't make me beg. Just head to youtube.com/Steve Marston Show and like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that stuff. It really does make a difference. We want to welcome in our guest today. And she's such a special person, a great friend, and an accomplished business leader, as well as an entrepreneur. This lady just is kind of a jack of all trades. Her name is Christine Faith, and she joins us here on the Steve Marston Show. Welcome in, Christine.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Okay, so every episode we have a different guest, and the guests leave little words of wisdom for the guest that comes in behind them. And they don't know who it is. They just leave a little message. So we had Casey Longing, who was the youth pastor, or is the youth pastor, of Union Valley Baptist Church in Beebe, and he left this. He said, "Don't quit. No matter what happens, don't ever give up." So there you go. Take that for what it's worth.
That is great advice, Steve.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into conversation with you. You have got so much going on. You always have. You are the founder of Searcy Living Magazine, which has been a staple of that community for such a long time. But you're also the founder and kind of heartbeat behind the Imagine and Believe Foundation. And that provides incredible resources for those who are fostering kids all around the Searcy area, and really more than that, a lot of different counties are represented every time that you open the door. So where do you want to start?
I would love to start by saying, for your listeners, if God has put something in your path, I think one of the things that I did not realize early on, but I see it so clearly looking back, is that the one thing is completely intertwined with the other. When I started the magazine, I had no clue what I was doing. I just kept moving forward one step at a time. If I would have looked at the big picture, I probably would have been too fearful to keep moving forward.
Sure.
But it just kept unfolding, and because my next publisher's note is actually going to be on this, all of the ways the magazine changed my life. But I became a foster parent because of the magazine, because a school asked me to get involved in a situation where a child needed clothing. And that turned into, it's a long story, but that turned into me becoming a foster parent, which a couple of years later turned into this ministry of Imagine and Believe starting. So the magazine's been going for 25 years. The foster care program, it's officially been a nonprofit for over 10 years, I believe, but it really started unofficially probably about 20 years ago. Maybe 21, 22 years ago. But one thing happened because of the other. They are just so intermeshed with each other. So I just see how God opens these doors, and they open other doors, and then they open other doors. And I just keep seeing that seems to be a pattern.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the magazine first, since that was launched. Let's dive into kind of what was the genesis behind you starting that magazine, because like you said, you didn't have any kind of publishing background or any idea about how to do a magazine, yet you have, and it has been wildly successful. You're still publishing even now. How did that all come about?
Well, of course, in with Kingdom perspective, it was not an accident, but, at the time it felt like it. I was actually a real estate agent, and there was things I liked about real estate, and there was things I really did not like about real estate. And the company I worked for produced a brochure, and I just naively thought, well, if they can do that and they don't know anything about publishing, then I should be able to do it.
Of course, why not?
And yeah, why not? And so I just kind of stumbled along, and I just remember, like delivering it and thinking, wow, I hope people are really reading this. And they were. and they were interacting and they were excited about it. And I feel like my excitement kind of grew because of their excitement. But I also specifically remember a moment. I could tell you exactly what road I was driving on, what I was passing at that time. And I had just hit, which I think all business owners do, a point in the journey where I just didn't know if it was going to fail or succeed. It was definitely being widely read, but the business aspect of it and, the bills and the demands and just everything, that had hit a point of just being overwhelming. And it hit one of those points where I'm like, is this even going to work? And I remember exactly where I was when I said, God, it's yours. It's not mine. I surrender. I give literally everything to you. If you want me to go to bankrupt, then I'll praise you. If you want me to be successful, I'll praise you. But it's all yours and I surrender. And I really look back on that moment, and I feel like it was the first time in my life I truly can say I became a Christian.
Wow.
And, before that moment, I feel like, I said the cute little prayer, and I'd gone to church my whole life, and like I went through the motions, but I don't really feel like I had ever really surrendered. And I feel like we all have to look at our hearts pretty deep and see what the intent of our heart is. And, there's so much of American religion that's just kind of, like, well, if you check these boxes, then you're going to go to heaven and your life's going to be wonderful. And that he's calling us to hard stuff. He's calling us to be disciples making disciples. He's calling us to surrender. And that's not always talked about, but I feel like I got it in that moment.
Well, that is so key because so many times, especially when it's a business that you own and it's all of your money, all of your blood, sweat, and tears involved in it, that's got to be the hardest thing to surrender because this is your livelihood. This is everything for you. And yet to take that step of faith, boy, that had to be the hardest journey you'd taken up to that point.
It was, but, over the next 2 weeks after that surrender, it didn't just fall apart. It actually started greatly and rapidly improving.
Wow.
And it, in my mind, it could have gone either way, but I had to be willing for it to. If I had the mindset of I'm going to surrender and then everything's going to be wonderful, I don't really feel like that would have happened because God wanted my whole heart.
That's so good because I'm so envious of that because I say that, I talk that talk. I want to walk that walk too. I hear guys, there's a program that follows us here on 99.5 The Word. His name is Steve Gregg, and he has the Narrow Path Show. And he's on all kinds of radio stations all over the country. And basically, he's said the same thing. If God wants me to be on this radio show, I will be. I've done it for 30 years, but if tomorrow it's over, it's over. And just to have that sense of it's okay, it's peace, and just total God's in control and not any of me is such a thing that I got to work on myself. I'm so glad that you were able to do that and able to live it out. That's amazing. Christine Walker, Christine Faith, used to be Walker, is joining us here on the Steve Marston Show. And you talked about getting involved with foster care and how it's kind of been hand in glove with the Searcy Living Magazine. Talk a little bit about how that got started because you went from not only a foster parent, but also to an adoptive parent, right?
Yes, I did. And that journey is such a mixed bag because there is so many experiences being a foster and adoptive parent that were just so amazing and just incredible. Let me just give you a short example. I was asked to take a blind child once. She was 4. She was blind. She wasn't completely blind, but legally blind.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never forget taking her kayaking. And I put her in my lap in the kayak, and she started crying, and I'm scared. And I just calmly said, just trust me. Just trust me. And she calmed down, and she had the best day of her life that day. I mean, I just can't tell you the joy I got from watching her have that experience that she probably will never have again. I hope she does. But I know that day will be something she will treasure forever. And, you know, those kind of moments are literally priceless. But I could also tell you stories of children that, you know, like when you have to have your faucet replaced for the third time in 3 months because somebody used it like a gear shift, and for the third time it's costing you $400 to call the plumber and buy a new faucet, you know, or the time pencils and Q-tips got stuffed down the drain, you know.
Right.
People don't think about those crazy things that a foster parent is dealing with. Which is why I feel like the foundation is so important. You know, it's a place where, you know, foster parents, new and experienced, can communicate together. They can, you know, get the resources that we're able to provide. You know, like we are having an event this week for back to school. And I got a phone call one day a couple weeks ago, and the lady told me our organization wants to donate $4,000 worth of things that you need. And so now we have enough socks and underwear for all our foster parents to come and just get what they need before back to school. And, you know, a package of socks might not sound like a big deal, but when you took in 3 kids in the middle of the night that are complete strangers, you already have to. And, you know, it's, you know, just all of this stuff at the last minute, you know, that's a lot. That's a big help to them.
It really is. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, even if they've had the children for a while, they still need that support because guess what? Somebody might have cost them $500 in a plumbing bill that week.
Exactly.
So that $10 package of socks times 3, 4, or 5 can really feel overwhelming. And we just try to take away that little straw that might have broke their resolve to keep helping children, you know, by just providing things and experiences and support and love from the community. And it's just a joy.
Christine Faith is our guest here on the Steve Marston Show, and we are talking about her life and her career, and it's all kind of been intertwined as seeing how God has worked through it. And we talked about Imagine and Believe, the foundation, because you being you didn't just say, oh, I want to foster and I want to help adopt kids. You said, hey, there's a whole community out here that's not being served. I can help do that. And that led to the foundation, which led to that amazing warehouse that's there in Searcy, where people that are fostering can come and, like you say, not only get socks and underwear, but find just about everything else that they need.
It's been an amazing journey, and I just feel like all your listeners need to remember, you know, there's so many people that I meet just in everyday life, and they don't understand that God gifted them with amazing gifts. People that are out there doing these kind of things aren't, you know, extra, you know, blessed or special. I mean, they might be, but only because they see it and they're walking in it. But I believe that everybody that follows God has got just a special gift and a special ministry. And it might be that it's pouring everything into teaching your children about the Bible, and they're going to grow up and change the world. It might be that you encouraged somebody in the grocery store or paid for somebody's meal behind you, and they were, you know, maybe they didn't commit suicide that day. Yeah. Maybe they were able to do something spectacular because you gave them that just gift. You know, just leaving a prayer card for with your tip, with your meal at a restaurant. There are so many ministries out there that are simple things that are really changing the world. And I hope your listeners realize that you don't have to be doing something that's public and obvious. And, you know, they are all gifted if they're walking, you know, with God. He's going to give them a special gift. They just need to see it in themselves.
We only have about a minute and a half left, but tell us quickly about Imagine and Believe, how if someone knows someone that's fostering, or maybe they're fostering themselves and want to get involved with you and the warehouse and be able to take advantage of the resources, how can they do that?
Sure. Our phone number is 501-593-5263. And if they call that number and nobody answers, there's a message with another number that will get answered right away. That's because I don't always carry two phones.
Don't blame you at all, sister.
Yes. And so we help foster and adoptive parents across the state, but they have to be non-relative foster and adoptive parents. We're helping the people that are taking in complete strangers' children. So that's how they can get involved. And we have a Facebook page that's pretty active, and we post a lot of things on there. So that's a lot of helpful information. We're pretty easy to find.
Yeah, check it out. Imagine and Believe Warehouse. It's the foundation as well on Facebook. You can see it. It's in Searcy. Easy to find. So before we let you go, we gave you the little words of wisdom from the previous guest. So what do you want to leave words of wisdom wise for our upcoming guest?
If there is one thing in life that I wish I would have learned years ago that I feel like I am just now getting a really good grip on and having a pretty big awareness of, it is stop worrying about what people think of you. Just worry about what God thinks. And I wish somebody would have told me that years and years and years ago. Because the older and wiser I get, the more I see that his opinion is all that matters. And everything else is just so temporary.
I could have said it better myself, and not a better way to end the interview. Christine, Faith, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Steve. It was a pleasure to be on your show today.